Good morning. I was thinking this morning, and even yesterday, a lot about mortality. Because that's where all this discussion stuff comes from. So then I was like, I haven't really gone back to the beginning of things in my brain for a while. And a lot of all this conversation traces to the sort of why are we here questions. And then maybe one of the biggest questions is, what happens after we die? Because we all die. We know that from looking around, or at least that's what we perceive. Who knows? But it certainly seems like we all die, and all things die, and we don't know when. Like, I don't know when I'm going to end my illustrious reign on this temporal plane. Could happen right now. Could happen a long time from now. Who knows? It can happen in an instant. Accidents happen all the time. Things happen all the time. Who knows? And then what happens to us? Now, some would say we then just go on and become the poo-poo worms, and that's it. Part and parcel, we're done. That's it. We were just meant to exist as a species mover. And still others think that there's something beyond, that just to exist solely in this life would seem sort of silly and pointless, to be merely a biological imperative. I fall into the latter category myself. I think by having been touched by the hereafter, not ghosts or anything, but just by the mantle of spirit that dwells in this world, through graced upon it occasionally by making art. It can come through physical exertion. It can come through moments of clarity and grace with others. And for me, it has come through prayer. It has come through worship. It's just come in quiet moments, in moments of great pain, in moments of great joy, and in moments in between too. So I couldn't even track it to like a fully chemical endorphin rush, thing. And, my brain is releasing these toxins and combating them with these, which is sort of somewhat poisoning me, but making me feel great. So I think there's something beyond. And what is that? And what is beyond? And then so in thinking about what is beyond, instead of for me, it would seem somewhat silly to just go into my own brain and be like, all right, brain, well, what happens after? And I can think of all the things I want. Well, that's when the mountain of chocolate ice cream happens, and then we all just roll around on it, and we're sprinkles. Forever. Which sounds cool, huh? Because yesterday we had a clogged drain in the sink, and it's still clogged. And I could have just been like, oh, all right, well, it's clogged drain. Well, here's what I think, how I think we could get stuff out. We should get soda and pour soda down it because it has bubbles, and it'll bubble through stuff. And then after that, I'll put my mouth right on the hole in the sink, and I'll suck as hard as I can, and I'll drink the soda, and then any nastiness that's stuck in there will come up with the soda. I could have done that, but what I did do was go and look and see what others have done before, and what has worked for others before. So I guess that's what I've sort of done with trying to figure out the hereafter. And people do that through prayer and through reading. And what, again, 80% of the world's population has then settled with, or has been struck, their souls have been struck with, is that after this life we die and we are weighed. At some point after our temporal reign ends, we are weighed and found wanting, or found to have succeeded in whatever. Basically, we are judged, and then some folks suggest we then pass on into another temporal existence, into another go-around, either above and below on the scale of things, whether we've done how we were judged, and then the other says we will only be judged once. We only have one life to live, like the soap opera, and then we are judged and found to fall short of the glory of God or to be within the glory of God. And that fall short comes from deciding, doing our own thing, going our own way. And the second comes from surrender of all things, consecration of all things, to fall on the grace and sinlessness of Christ, of God made incarnate, in order to slide our way into heaven on the piggybacking, if you will, on the grace of another. And in specific, to avoid this, when we are all done, well, look at that. When we are all done, to avoid what might be our, according to most philosophical thought, would be our just desserts. Christ came to offer basically a get out of jail free card. I mean, in a Buddhist sense, it would be like if when you died, if you had relied on Christ, you would get instant enlightenment, and you would actually go and join the collective. Or I don't know 100% how that philosophy has shaped out. So if anyone can tell me, and I can go look it up as well. But it's nice to hear from people. But this is what we get from Christ. Romans 8:1. There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. For the law of the Spirit of life in Jesus Christ has made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do in that it was weak through the flesh, basically will fail the actual law, the Ten Commandments, for example, we will fall short of those, and I do all the time, though I aspire greatly and pray mightily to live according to them. And I do it more often the more I let go, let me tell you, and it's much easier, goodness gracious. God did by sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh. On account of sin, he condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteous requirement of the law might be fulfilled in us, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. Anyway, so we are, at least according to this collection of wisdom, we are intended always, even in this realm, to keep our eyes on the hereafter. That really this entire realm is meant as a rehearsal for departure, that we might winnow our souls to God's, that eternity might be found in Him, through transformation, through delivery, through Him, through no sight of our no real doing of our own, other than to turn from our sin and be turned. So that's that. My question of the day, which I haven't done in a bit, what do y'all think? Have you come up with your own philosophy of what happens in the hereafter after you are sloughed off this mortal coil? Do you subscribe to another theory, somebody else's theory? Do you believe there's nothing? Do you believe there's something? And if there's something, then what is all this for? And what is all that? Tell me everything. I'm curious, and let's talk about it. Good morning.